Runway Gen 2 came out.
Prepare yourself for the exhilaration and sheer chaos of interdimensional clown wrestling. These clowns, handpicked from the twisted corners of reality and visceral vibrancy that only the weirdest dimensions can conjure.
The thing with text to video is text to image has gotten so good that the expectation on text to video is so high.
But it's harder to do. I'll tell you why it's harder to do, right? Technically. So let's say you run Stable Diffusion, you have a nice model on it or Midjourney or whatever. You're able to generate an image. Good. But the problem is generating one image and generating, like a video is a bunch of frames.
Correct.
Let's say 25 frames a second, right? You're generating many frames. Frame to frame cohesion, even if you get great outputs on frame 1, frame 2, frame to frame cohesion is hard.
It's hard. Yeah.
So you'll see this in a lot of, like Kyber, for example, has this issue, right? Let's say you have a small plant there in front of you and you're taking a video of the plant and you're just moving around. And maybe there's a dog in front of the plant, right? As you move around, the plant will start changing shapes.
Correct.
Frame to frame, it'll go from plant to something else that looks like a plant to some other thing that looks like a plant, maybe different plants even.
Correct.
So there's no frame to frame consistency.
Correct.
Right? And I think that's the biggest issue with text to video.
That's why people are currently using like video AI tools where it's like for a moment in using a video as a base layer, you can imprint
It's a filter.
other stuff on it. It's a filter.
Yeah, I think the best use case is a filter. Right? Like Snapchat, Instagram have already proved this, and I think there are now tools where it can convert you into anime form. I think text to video, it's not even text to video, it's video to video, will be great for filters, right?
Yeah.
And I think it gives a lot of editors great tools, right? Like,
Maybe text to video, like this tweet says that I predict that generative video will emerge as a form of media in its own right.
yeah,
So maybe we won't get text to video in the way we are getting text to images, which is extremely accurate images based on how descriptive you are.
yeah.
But maybe text to video can be a new style of video.
Yeah, I'll
Be
tell you one
something
more
else.
problem. I'll tell you one more problem with images and video. Okay, this is just in usage patterns. So when you use Midjourney, you get 4 outputs. Sometimes you like the output, sometimes like give me more variants. How do you use text to image? I'm very like pessimistic about art jobs, right? And the main reason is this, right? If you don't like an output, you can generate 1,000, pick one.
Correct.
With video and even with code, you can't easily do that. Even code, I'm bullish that it'll help engineers, and a lot of engineers will be 10x, 100x engineers, but everyone will need to know how to code, right? And the main reason is you get a code base or you get a full video. Let's say you want to change 3 frames in the video.
Correct.
Let's say you've given a prompt saying, okay, Rahul Dravid sitting and sipping coffee on Mount Everest, right? And maybe some part of the video is not great, right? Maybe he's sipping coffee the wrong way or his pinky's out or you want his pinky out. You can't go in and change that now because now the entire video will change. It'll generate something from scratch with Rahul's pinky out, but the Mount Everest behind will change.
That's right now though.
Yeah, even in the future, right? You don't have fine control over any of these AI models. Even with Stable Diffusion, you don't. Even with Midjourney, you don't. You can't, like, even if you tell Midjourney, oh, I want a character sitting there sipping a cup of coffee, it's not exactly what you want. And if you want to remove that cup of coffee, you'll have to take it in generative fill.
By the way, I generated an image of, this is after my channel got hacked, I generated an image of, and the prompt was that, hey, generate an image of an Indian man sitting in front of a computer, studio's on fire, and he's showing the thumbs up.
Yeah.
Okay. And it generated accurately.
Yeah.
So if it's like one specific action that you want a person to do.
No, it's about change. Say you like an output. The problem is this, right? You love an output. You want one change. Now you're done. You can't do anything.
Yeah. You can't be like, retain all of this shit. This happens on Midjourney as well.
Yeah.
I can't be like, retain the posture, but just change the clothes. I can't do that.
Exactly. And for that, you'd use generative fill, right? So the equivalent of generative fill for video is very hard because if I say, okay, this one small thing in the background, I want this to be something else. Now you need to have frame to frame consistency. So it's very hard to do generative fill, and that's a video editor's role, honestly, right? Like if you want some graphic to come in or whatever, and then swipe out. So what I believe with text to video, text to image particularly is a lot of people look at a lot of outputs. Like you would have seen 4 outputs of the thumbs up. You'll be like, I like this one.
Correct.
The minute you want to edit that, you're screwed. But with code bases, you generate an entire code base, and you're like, oh, I want to change this one file. Now you need to know how to do it. Now you need to learn how to code, right? So you have capability. It's like, we have this thing called in tech called create, read, update, destroy, right? If anything on the database, simple operations are create, read, update, destroy. Create means you're creating a new piece of something. Read means you're just looking at it and whatever. Read means you're just looking at it. Update means you want to change something. And destroy means you want to delete it. So we have CRD, we don't have U.
Correct.
Right? So you don't have edit capability. If you're okay with abandoning the edit capability, like in the sense of generate 1,000 image variants and pick the right one, then great. But if you want to go, like, if you want to edit anything, you need to have skill sets. So let's try it. Let's try to generate something. So what we're writing is Steve Jobs sitting on a mountain drinking coffee with a pinky finger out. Right? You know where I think text to video will be very useful in few years? Stock footage. Like if you don't care about the exact fidelity and you're just like, oh, I'm saying something about Egypt, just show people in Egypt walking.
Yes.
It is great.
Almost like B-roll.
B-roll. It's great for B-roll because there you can see 4 generations and be like, I like this one. The minute you want edit capability, you're like, I want this specific thing changed. You have no control. You have no fidelity.
So you can create a lot of like montage shots and or video with like where you want, it's like a hype video and you want text on top of just something.
Narrates. Narration videos.
Almost like ambience.
Yeah,
like
I was speaking to an
ambience.
ML founder, right? Another one who works in text to video, but for faces. And he was like, our model has everything, but if you want to like in the middle of the video, you want the character to turn to the left or right, you can't do that. Sorry. Okay.
Oh, it generates something.
See?
It's not getting the...
It's not doing the pinky finger out. But one day this will be great for stock footage.
It's pretty good for general feel of what you're going for, but not the exact thing.
Yeah. I think the stock footage to create a movie or a video will be available at some point. Like you want to do Terminators walking in and Arnold Schwarzenegger looking at them and like turning around. If you're okay with sacrificing fidelity, this is great.
Let's try creating something which is just like an ambient film over which you can overlay text to make like a hype video, right? So say for example, shooting stars in the sky.
In the sky with text on top.
No, text we will add. No, so shooting stars in the sky.
Yeah.
Yellow clouds with rain.
With rain. Yeah, this is perfect. This is stock footage.
This is stock footage. Right?
And this is what it's trained on also. So it will generate something really good. So yeah, I was talking to a founder who's worked in ML for a while. He has a text to video platform, but for face, like for talking heads. And he's like, we've got everything. Like you give in some words and it'll do it for you, but we don't have fidelity. Like if you want the actor to look left and say something or move their right hand on frame 3 and say something, sorry, you can't do that. So you lose edit capability, but the create capability will be damn good. Like in 5 years, it's going to be so good. You don't need to turn anywhere for stock footage.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If I own a production company right now that produces specific scripts, like there's a script that's written with a celebrity in a specific manner where they need to behave and say a certain line. Is my job in danger because of text to video generation?
No. I think, see, as a director, right, you want that finer control. You want Alia Bhatt to look slightly 35 degrees to the left saying something and putting her hands up or being super excited. There's a reason retakes happen, right? They'll want you to retake 10 times. The problem with this is you need to look at 1,000 generations and it's not like right now we're generating stock footage, right? But let's say the entire segment is a minute long. Do you have the energy to look at 1,000 different generations of a minute long video and then pick the right one and then say, oh, this is the base? There'll always be something you want to change, but on set, it's very easy for you to change that. Right? For you to say, okay, move to the left slightly, do this slightly, do this slightly. And directors, 99% of the time, whatever I've seen, they're always asking for micro changes.
So as a director right now, I can ask a person to go from A to B, right? And AI can make something go from A to B. But actually, the process of going A to B requires you to go from A to A.1 to A.2 to A.3 to A.4 to A.5 to eventually reach B, which right now AI is unable to give you any possibility to change something at A.3, A.4,
the word is called fidelity, right? And what I'm saying is you can't even do fidelity in images. Like it's so hard to do fidelity in images, but images are very easy to walk into like on Photoshop or something and change small things out, right? Or with images, you can just beat it with volume. Generate 1,000.
Correct.
Find maybe you like the 18th one or the 118th one. You can just be like, let's roll with this. It's one image. But with a video, every frame, it's almost like every frame you're looking for something, right? So it's almost like that same 1,000 multiplied by the frame rate, multiplied by the number of seconds the video goes on for. I don't think anyone has the patience to look through so many generations.
So production companies can breathe safe for now.
Yeah. But I think stock footage, like if I'm doing a narrative, like we will definitely be using this to create narrations. Like
Yeah.
if I'm narrating something and I don't want to generate the B-roll, we will use this to do B-roll. Like skies, stars, people moving in Egypt. Something that's generic, I would use this.
Oh, play this. This video is ready. So good. This is great for as stock footage.
Yeah, it will replace stock footage.